Episode 6, The Red Tide. KY10 felt like a preserve, for the boy had been concealed inside the gelatinous information trail for quite some time. His head had not breached the surface of the deep since he had sunk with Abella. Everything Abella had learned now coursed through KY10. Abella scared KY. He had not been in contact with many humans in recent history, and her experience was painful. From the start of her human existence to this point in her being, her memories were of pain, hunger, and misery. Life in the rocks was hard, forcing her to peel herself from starvation to try to find longevity in human form. Her whole life she had been traded from cave to cave, forced to work in whatever way her masters craved. Sadly, she had become what she had learned, and for her last few days she had patrolled the Gulf with a group of rudderless youths whose moral compass had been warped by the oil magnates. From the moment she disembarked her vessel, KY10 had released these memories from her as she began through her calm descent to the soft, ever-changing banks of sand that pulled at her from below. Abella was due another chance. She was stronger and smarter than she had any right to be. This was a new beginning for her. The slightest meeting with the boy had afforded her that. She would be returned, but not to the life that she left, and not to a life that would be as simple as that of a pirate. She was to take it all. Her return would be slow and painful, and her watery future complex and enlightening. He thought of her still as he accelerated towards the surface. KY liked this feeling of the salt water flowing through the yellow shell around KY and breezing over KY10's peculiar feet. The head of the boy breached the surface, and for the first time in memory, the shoulders of the jacket popped up too, revealing more than he would have liked. As the torso rose up, it turned a deep red colour. What was this film of scarlet that surrounded him? It felt warm and alive. The red seemed to be thriving in this environment, yet there was a menace to it, a dark scarlet intent. These organisms didn't seem entirely aquatic, for they had a taste of the land about them, a richness and a hormonal excessiveness. KY10 suspected that there was some level of eutrophication at play, even this far out. The autotrophic phytoplankton are a serious part of the ocean, and their ever-present swirling presence can only usually be detected when their photosynthetic pigments are triggered, this time with cardinal consequences. It is the crustaceans who suffer most, drawing the red water in over their gills through their cilia, suspended there to poison the muscles in the gill before being expelled to carry on with their journey. The coral-coloured bloom slowly sucks the oxygen out of the water and effortlessly drains the life from the passing fish. KY10 felt constricted by this red mist, but not in the comforting way of the jellyfish. The sunlight, nutrients and salinity of the water will decide when and where this bloom comes, when it hides and where it moves. Similar forces control KY10's path, and they were now dragging him south. The red was disappearing, and the golden glow of the jacket beneath was starting to push through. The colour of the jacket was pretty consistent throughout its time, but the spherical skull and its infinite interior has started to go blue again.
Episode 7. The Horse Latitudes. Did KY feel, or did it hear, a crackle in the distance? Not likely. Ears were not part of the boy's physical makeup. In this vortex of never-changing aquamarine, KY-10 had not felt enough moisture above the sea as foam crushed around the sun-blessed Pluto. There is a comfort in repetition. A bird circled above and upwards for the 100th time. The same bird? A frigate bird would never allow itself to swoop so low. Upwards on a rare warm current, down on a cooler one, in its own way as trapped as KY. Movement is slow, if anything, hard to tell when all is blue. The horse latitude, full of the bones of the thirsty, is an area of disquiet. Less movement than in other parts of the ocean, in which the bones of long-sunken horses are forced to just wait. For KY-10, movement was simply the frigate birds circling high above, ever spiraling and now beginning to drive a rusted cock of frustration deep within the boy's blue head. The water temperature feels far from tropical. A cold undercurrent, not quite enough to change the scenery. The boy's thoughts turned to Ruffin and their last encounter. There is a comfort in repetition. Whilst awaiting the arrival of the prevailing westerlies, the magnesium white of rockets screaming for space only to explode vividly and noisily 100 feet up from the surface. The further KY-10's axis shifted from the vertical. The lucidity of these images intensified. The boom and crackle filling the empty circular space, leaving KY's feet trailing behind. The wind picked up. The frigate bird moved on. The all-too-real crackle of the radio was upon him. At the behest of the wind, all was on the move.
من أبصره نيبت ساهبة مهمر أصوري with walk of virus law it most of the